We've installed around more than 700 installs from the BLC, and that exactly doubled the number if we compare with other companies in
Yeah.
terms of a month.
Today I'm here with Hafiz from SmartWay Energy. So just as a bit of an introduction, SmartWay are one of our longest standing clients. I think we've been with you for about 2 years now. So I'll hand it over to Hafiz now to give a brief introduction to his background and SmartWay Energy.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, it's been a long partnership. And in terms of SmartWay Energy, we come into this industry to reduce carbon emission from the UK. We really want to take part into the environmental issues. So just really want to take part in the reduction of the carbon from the UK. That's a good initiative from the government. We've just started in those days where the scheme just goes properly and the finishing years nearby, a lot of hurdles and difficulties come around. The more important always being a marketing side. Rest is just some good decisions just lead us to produce a quality and big number of installs in a short period of time.
Definitely. It sounds like kind of since you formed the company, obviously with your partner, you always had big goals to, do 50, 100 jobs per month. So I suppose before you kind of came on board with BLC and had us as your marketing partner, what were the main challenges you faced in actually getting the leads to do those amount of jobs? Because I know that you mentioned it wasn't really your background or where you came from.
Yeah, basically the initial 5, 6 months, we only installed average around 20 to 25 jobs a month. The marketing was very expensive at that time because we haven't had any experience. So they charge quite big. The conversion rate, we don't have any experience. How much would it be? So after onboarding the BLC and when we did the comparison with both of them, literally, we got to know that there are some companies
Yeah.
who will give you, cheap and more quality leads in comparison with different lead generation companies. The quality leads just increased and the conversion rate then telesales converted into the big number of installs. That basically the results give us more power to install more and more in coming months. That leads to 150 installs a month too. The basic thing is the money. Obviously, we were spending quite high and the conversion rate were very low with other companies, which changes with the BLC.
Sure. So the main sort of difference between us and what you're doing before, just the quality of leads coming through was better through the BLC ads.
Yeah, that's the main big thing. When we started, the main thing which we've noticed quite frequent bookings out
Yeah.
of some leads because we don't really bother with the CPL cost per lead, but always matters is the cost per installs. The cost per installs with BLC is pretty low when we compare with the other companies. Obviously, in a business, we look into these sort of stats and we continue with them for another month just to compare and just to make sure that we've got good results from BLC.
Yeah. And then is that what gave you the confidence to keep increasing your spending? Because I know that you
Exactly.
guys always want to spend more on the ads and get more leads in. So kind
Yeah,
of once you had
exactly.
confirmed it for a few months, you were then happy to put more money into the campaign,
Yeah,
basically.
and that exactly happened. You
Yeah.
know that initial months we just stick with some specific budget, and then we increase and increase hard.
Yeah.
Your team also did pretty much well. The key role in the partnership with the company and marketing is the communication. If the communication is on spot, that leads to the trust. So the
Yeah.
trust is again the biggest thing in the business. That trust then leads to a good, solid partnership that benefit both.
Yeah.
The marketing side as well. You're doing your great part. The quality we produce, that's exactly matters at the end.
Yeah. You mentioned sort of the quality of leads coming from the campaign with BLC. Do you have any sort of idea over the last 18 months since we've been working together, how many installs you've done just from our campaign?
We've installed around more than 700 installs from the BLC, and that exactly doubled the number if we compare with other companies in
Yeah.
terms of a month. That's exactly made a difference for us to just go hard into this market.
Yeah.
Obviously, the teamwork again, they made us to this point that we produce quality. We have some good account managers from your
Yeah.
side, and from my side, obviously, they have very good bonding and communication that exactly fulfill our requirements, and that exactly made the difference.
Yeah.
Basically, this is not any difficulty to just get hold of your side because in this market, in fluctuation, you need to have somebody always on board from company with us just to discuss. For example, if we think one side and maybe you explain to us that will be much better to go with this specific difficulty. So we always listen to the marketing side as well and take decision afterward.
Obviously, for a company like yours in the industry, leads and customers kind of every single month coming in are really like the foundations of being able to scale things up. So has the results from the campaign with us kind of allowed you to hire more staff, kind of scale the business and actually just be confident that you've got leads coming in month after month to grow?
Exactly. If you got the business, then you need to take decision regarding the expansion of a company, how you're gonna recruit more staff. That's the only trust in the market you need to have before taking taking any decisions to just expand everything. Nobody really want their money to stuck into the market. So we've took decision just on the basis of the good results from the marketing, and yeah, we've done it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and we spoke a little bit earlier about your telesales team that you have in-house who call up the BLC leads, but also in the last couple of months, you've also been working alongside the telesales team at BLC. We've been helping you go through some of the older leads which you didn't convert or couldn't contact. So what sort of impact has that had in terms of maximizing your spend in the last couple of months by also using our calling services as well?
As I've mentioned before, that the telesales, in-house telesales, they are amazing, remarkable results they produce for us. But obviously, time to time, when we spend more into the marketing side, that's difficult to just cover everything by them. We've increased the number, but when we've got the telesales services from the BLC on the older leads and some part in the newer one, that exactly makes a huge difference
Yeah.
they make, because the telesales literally deal with the latest leads which are coming maybe for 1 day, two, maybe couple, 3, 4 days. Some customers, they need some time to just think about whether
Yeah.
they're gonna go after. The main reason is most people think this is scam. That's exactly the hurdle the telesales always facing, but they've done a great job. So after 3, 4 days, the BLC telesales obviously took over everything, and they make a huge difference. I
Yeah.
mean, those leads are just dead for us. Maybe after a week or two, in-house telesale members just go back and just give them a call. On the same time, if they go along on the new leads, BLC obviously covered, and we've got good number of bookings out of
Yeah.
them. That was really a good move, maybe from our side or your team
Yeah.
converted into the good
Yeah.
one. That exactly worked for us
Yeah.
as well, because those dead leads, obviously, we spend everything on
Yeah.
it. If we don't call them, that's just gone. But if we call them and book them, that's a win-win situation.
I think that's probably the biggest problem a lot of installers run into when they run online campaigns is they potentially don't have a good setup in terms of actually calling the leads up quickly and efficiently. That's something that you guys have, but the service that we offer for installers where we don't just generate the leads, but then we actually call them up, deal with all the qualification and book them in for a survey. For those installers that don't have the capacity to do that in-house, they don't have the time, it probably makes the biggest impact and results for them, like you've seen with the older leads, because our team's working from Monday to Saturday. They do mornings, evenings,
Yeah.
and it makes a huge difference in terms of how many leads actually convert.
One thing I want to mention is, obviously, we had one in-house setup, and the BLC, they literally got adopted to that
Yeah.
setup, I think within 1 or 2 days. That was a big thing, because if they took a week or so, we're not going to continue with
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
So they just come, adopt it, go hard, and the results produced.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing a lot of installers notice as well, is obviously we've worked with a lot of companies in the industry now, so it doesn't take us long to kind of get up to speed in
Yeah.
terms of what you're looking for and how to fit in with your company.
Mm.
I think that's the goal for us really, is to almost be an extension of your in-house team, and it feels like you've got your own office team that just
Yeah.
happen to work for BLC basically. We obviously speak to a lot of installers like yourself who are on the fence about potentially running their own online campaign with BLC. So a lot of them have never done it previously, or they might have worked with other agencies and it's not quite gone to plan. So for any installers watching this, what would you say about working with BLC, and would you recommend them starting with us?
Yeah, I mean, as I've mentioned before, the results we've got doubled. That's a big thing I'm going to say, that stick with the plans. Obviously, if they got on board, they need to test it at least for 2, 3 months, not in a
Yeah.
month, because in a month time, you can't really say anything in terms of marketing. This is what I've learned
Yeah.
personally in this market. So they need to spend and got patience. And hopefully you got patience from our side
Yeah.
in terms of spending more. We don't really change the budget. That exactly makes a difference in the producing of the quality leads. So just stick with the plans. That's the only thing I'm going to
Yeah.
say to them, that if you need to stick with the plans, with the budget, and they're
Yeah.
going to get it.
Let us take care of the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Trust the professional.
No, that's great to hear. And obviously, it's been great working with SmartWay as well. So, for anyone kind of watching this, whether it's an installer, retrofit assessor who has the opportunity to work with SmartWay, I couldn't recommend it enough because it's a great team.
Thank you. This
Yeah.
is the compliment for us.
Yeah. So, everyone that we've dealt with at SmartWay, from Hafiz and his partner all the way down to the calling team, the team doing the paperwork, they always ensure that the customers that you get from us are dealt with professionally. Obviously, the quality of work that all your installers do is amazing as well. And I think the reason that you're probably a favorite with your managing agent as well is because obviously all the paperwork is always up to scratch and where it needs to be.
Yeah, the profit always been a key role, but the main thing is you need to be on the good side, the quality. And if the government launches this scheme, or they really want to reduce the energy bills by installing efficient measures, we literally have to work on that specific side. That makes a difference after getting into this market. For new entrants or anybody, obviously, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend BLC, because my experience, and I have a lot of different installer companies working with the BLC, they really have always positives about the BLC in terms of low cost, in terms of good quality leads. So I really recommend the BLC always.